Hi everyone, now we're live, and today I have my beautiful cousin from all the way, well, she's originally from Canada, but she's not in Canada right now. She's in a incognito place at the moment. Will not disclose. But a big welcome to you, Alison. Thanks for coming all the way to Scotland for my wee show.
Thank you so much for having me, Sharon. I can tell you I'm in India, where there's 1.4 billion people here. So you gotta, there's lots of places for me to be incognito here.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought I was like incognito, that kind of.
Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm happy, and hello everybody. Bonsoir pour mes amis français, and hola por mis amigos española.
Oh, there we go. Got all the bases covered near enough.
Yeah, there's my three languages to say hello.
Well, I've sent it out to my friends to watch, but many of them it's different times of all different times of the world, different times of the world. So it's like right now in California, my friend, he's just getting up because it's only 8 o'clock in the morning for him. So it's like I know I've got California time in my brain for some reason. I'm able to just get it.
And Vancouver and California are the same time. Los Angeles, Vancouver.
Yeah.
So all my friends in Vancouver, good morning. Friends in LA, good morning. Friends in India, good evening. It's night in India. It's 8:30 at night. Scotland is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, 4 o'clock.
All right. So happy Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
We're hitting 3 major continents here.
Yes. So we might get some people popping in, but I'm sure actually more often than not, in a Saturday in Scotland, in a day like this, even though we're having COVID, people will be in their gardens rather than being sitting watching me. But right now we actually have the grand total of 4 people watching us. So, woo! Big time, we're hitting the big time. But the numbers do creep up, it keeps up. But it's like usually at the beginning it just takes a wee bit of, but you're familiar with the Scottish accent. You're pretty.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with the Scottish accent.
Right.
Grandma Young spent a great deal of time with me in my younger years, so it's very familiar for me, and I love the sound of rolling R's and the wee. Rolling R's.
I thought you were going to say the wee. I thought you were going to say the whiskey. She's put her drink up, and.
Do you know that in Peru, this was really interesting for me. When I was in Peru in South America, all of the children rush up and they want you to take a picture. They want you to take a picture of them, or they want to have a selfie with you. And before they take the picture, instead of saying whiskey, or instead of saying cheese, they say whiskey.
Whiskey.
So I held the camera, and all these kids go whiskey.
That's cool.
Yeah, they say whiskey instead of cheese. So I guess you get the same smile.
Yeah, well, I think you probably would get a bigger smile if you're in Scotland and someone offered you a whiskey. Whether you're getting a photograph or not, you get a aye.
Well, I think with me, when the children ran up to get pictures and they all said whiskey, I got a good laugh too. So it was a good way to make me smile.
So, well, in case anyone's wondering about the photograph that I used for the thumbnail, you're very exciting one, You want to tell anyone what that one was all about, in case anyone's wondering?
Well, I came to India on May the 1st last year, so I've been here a little over a year. But my visa was a 1-year visa, and after 6 months, you have to leave the country and come back in. So Nepal is on the border of India, and I decided at the end of October, which was also my 60th birthday, that I would go to Nepal and celebrate my birthday.
You're so young. So young looking, sorry. You're so young, yeah.
Well, sometimes I have to pinch myself. Am I really 60? Because I feel 15 inside. But I decided that I needed to go to see the Himalayas. This has been a dream for many, many years of my life. And I went paragliding for my 60th birthday. And it was just an incredible experience. Mountains and lakes, and actually the guy who took me, the tandem guy, he's sitting behind me, I didn't even pay attention to him at all. I was so fascinated with the landscape and the beauty. And after a few minutes, we're up really high, and he tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, yeah, I'm fine. He said, "You're so calm. I've never had anybody be so calm before." I think.
You think you were in shock? You're like this.
Yeah, he thought that I was I said, "No, it's just so beautiful. I'm just so amazed with how beautiful it is." I was so swept in by the beauty of the nature that I had no fear whatsoever. But actually, there was 3 or 4 guys, and we were pairing up with who was going to take who. And I asked this one guy, "Do you have kids?" I said, "Do you have kids?" He said, "Yeah." I go, "How many?" He goes, 2. I said, "Okay, I want to go with you." Because I thought, if this guy has children, he's going to be more careful. Right? So I had no fear, because I thought, he's got kids. He's going to make sure we land.
Yeah, of course. I know, well, that's what you want.
So I had no fear whatsoever. I guess some people react quite differently. They're afraid, very, very afraid. But I wasn't.
I think I'd be afraid. I think I would be afraid. I don't know. Maybe because I've never flown. I've never been in a plane. I've never been in a helicopter or anything like that. I'm not so much that I'm frightened of heights. I just haven't done it. And then obviously with my position and stuff like that now, I wouldn't be able to tolerate the whole jostling about or travelling and all that sort of thing. So it's just one of those things that I just never got down to doing. And then, now times, and I need to say, there's loads of people in the chat that I get a wee thing at the side where a wee chat goes up. You won't get that because you're on your phone. If you were on your laptop, you would see people are saying hi. People are saying hi, Alison. Loads of people are there saying hi. So I'm just saying hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
They think I'm ignoring y'all. All my wee pals have came in. So if you see me waving, don't go, "Why is she waving at me?" It's like I'm waving to them, so I'm not distracted. So we're giving you a wee wave, so you're getting acknowledgement.
Cheers all. I'm happy to have you all here. And people can ask questions if they want to. Is that true?
Yeah. People can ask questions. Yeah.
Cool.
So if you have any questions for Alice, fire away. You can any questions for me, that's not always a good idea, because I'm like,
it's okay. No, maybe for those people from my end of the world that want to know, who's your cousin and what's her deal, can you tell me a little bit, give my friends a bit of an introduction, who you are and what you do? Because what you have going on is fascinating. Yeah, because you're into some really cool things, and I think, I've got this cousin in Scotland who has got this cool show, and she's into all these incredible things, investigations. So,
basically, I'm Sharon, as you know, and I'm your cousin, as you know. But basically, I started my YouTube channel just mainly because I wanted to give a voice for the victims of crimes and stuff like that, because I would watch loads of crime things, and I would always say, it always annoyed me why there would be a victim. Say, like, just use for example Ted Bundy, why there would be so many pictures of him, so much footage of him, and like a fleeting little picture of the victims going by, and it always grated at me. Right. And the more of those things that I watched, because unfortunately I couldn't stop myself from watching them, but it would annoy me at the same time. So I thought, I'm going to start a wee channel and do things on my own channel, doing the wee victims videos. But on the sideline, I do lots of videos with my friend Eric Cozy on Making a Murderer. And that's mostly about Scottish politics. I'm really interested in politics and thriving, trying to get Scottish independence. We're really trying.
I've got an interest in this too myself, because I've got the Scottish passport as well. Yeah.
And also I have a strong interest in wrongful convictions as well. So I'm kind of like in lots of different arenas on YouTube, if you know what I mean. But myself, I've always been interested in psychology. So, and I always feel like psychology is in politics, psychology is in looking at crime victims and wrongful convictions. So it's when you're looking at people and you're thinking of psychology, it's in all of those things, So where there's an interest and where there's something that I want to find out more about, you know, because I'm like, I want to know more about that, you know. So, but then, I mean, I'm interested in things that would normally be considered conspiracy theory type things. People would normally say that, and that always annoys me because it's like it's used as a disparaging terminology created for that reason.
Let's clarify the term. Can we clarify the term conspiracy theory? Because I get labeled this all the time, and I ask people, what is the term conspiracy theory, and when did it originate? It was actually a term coined by the CIA after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So if you have to look at the history, where did this come from? Because people were questioning his death, which was under very suspicious and questionable circumstances. So the CIA was brought in and basically created as an organization to cover up all the question asking. And anybody who asked questions was immediately labeled a conspiracy theorist. So it's been given this very negative connotation. But isn't a conspiracy theorist somebody who studies these actions of others and tries to expose them? You know, for me, I think that a more appropriate term would be a truther.
Yes,
that's what I like. I would prefer people call me a truther because I'm looking for factual information, declassified government documents, different publications, statistics, data. You know, there's plenty of information out there, but people have been so conditioned to dispute it because it's been labeled conspiracy theory or crackpot. You know, some of these people, like, let's use an example, Alex Jones or David Icke. You know, they've had a lot of controversy, but a good portion of what they're saying is absolutely bang on accurate.
True.
You know,
it's the way they're saying it.
Exactly, but they've exposed crimes and they've been demonized for that exposure. And then you end up fighting back and you get a little bit crazy. I can understand why some of these people get a little bit crazy because I've myself been pushed so hard to defend data and document. I tell people, look at the document, read it.
Right there.
It's right there. They were doing secret drug tests on US government officials and scientists to see if they were going to buckle under LSD. I mean, there's this, I'm not making this stuff up. There's MK Ultra mind control and Monarch Butterfly and Project Paperclip, Operation Paperclip.
They had to admit to some of that, though. They had to admit to some of that, though, didn't they, with the MK Ultra? They had to admit to that.
Yeah.
Well, to the extent of what they were going to admit to, it's not obviously the full extent of what they were up to. But
and you know, when you see a document that's full of redacted information, you know there's something they're trying to cover up. I see a document that's got black marks all over it. I'm like, what are they covering up here?
Why not just give me the black bit of paper? You know, there's like more black on it than white. You know.
So
is that you familiar with Ted? Sorry. Carry on.
Ted Bundy. With Ted Bundy.
No. I was going to say Ted Gunderson. You familiar with him?
Yeah. Now, are you also involved with the Innocence Project? You're doing something with the Innocence Project?
Well, kind of. I'm not involved with them personally myself. As in, I'm not like some ambassador for the Innocence Project, but we definitely stand up for them, and you know, we do loads of videos and we do things where we're always encouraging people to go over and help to support them and to, you know, all that sort of thing. So in the sort of meagre way that a YouTuber can, you know, we try and cause you know, like spread awareness that these innocent people are in jail, and where we can, we get them on to our channels and get to tell their story and, you know, sort of thing. And I recently had a very good a criminologist from Scotland on my channel, Dr. Sandra Lean, and she was actually talking about an innocent young man from Scotland who's really struggling to try and get his case overturned. But it's the way that Scottish law is, it's like nightmare. So that's where I'm interested in, like wrongful convictions and stuff. So yeah, the Innocence Project, there's a group of us, there's this big group, a big community of us, and it's like as a group we're all interested in, you know, wrongful convictions, you know, the Innocence Project being a big number one, you know. So many, there's just so many things that we're all involved in. But then we all have our own little niche things as well, you know, because I don't do, well, most of them do programmes on Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, the guys that were in the Making a Murderer documentary.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that from a while back. Most of the YouTubers that I'm in the circle with started by covering that case. But I never started that way. I started with the victims' videos, and you know, but I had been in with that circle of the YouTubers since day one. But I just never went down the route of, because I felt like I didn't need to be out doing videos on Stephen and Brendan when everybody else was doing it. I felt like I would have been silly saying the same thing as them, you know. Whereas there's so many victims that need their voice heard, you know, that just because they're dead doesn't mean that they are any less needing to be remembered. You know, so,
no, because these are the people whose stories need to be heard. The same thing for me. I started seeing that there was a pattern in certain areas, especially with the indigenous and people in poor areas, and that was what drew me to Peru, because I started looking at all the problems of the indigenous worldwide, and they all seem to have the same problem. They're pushed from their lands, their resources are taken from them, their culture is dismantled, and there are restrictions, and they have a history of, through colonization, of their traditions being disrupted. And now I consider the indigenous are the keepers of the land. They're the guardians of the land, and it's actually the indigenous in many areas that they're protecting the Amazon, they're protecting the rainforest, they're protecting these places that need to be protected. But because they have no voice, they're being driven from the lands. A lot of them are being killed. And that's what I thought. I need to give these people a voice. I wanted to investigate more, like who's responsible, who's accountable. And you know, the deeper you dig, the more you find out that you don't want to know. You know, like I kept finding information I didn't want to know. And I kept kind of gravitating to this stuff. I'm like, I'm looking for inconsistencies in the mining companies. And then I find out that they're money laundering through the nonprofit organizations. And the nonprofit organizations are fronts because they come into these areas and they look like they're doing something good. Meanwhile, what they're doing is they're sucking everybody in so they can kick them off the land. You know, and you see these patterns and it's frightening. And you think, who do you trust? Because when judges and presidents and heads of the military and the Coast Guard and all these organizations are part of this corrupt system, who do you go to? You know, when you find information, like I wasn't a political person. I never really cared about, you know, the politics that much. But when I started investigating some of these human rights violations, and including things like not giving people access to proper education, you know, keeping the education standards low and things like that. And I thought, well, who do you complain to? Who do you wave the flag to? Because the media is not covering this stuff. The media is giving the other side of the story. The mainstream media is only giving half the picture. And it's up to people like you and I to fill in the blanks. Because there's always two sides to every story. And this was why I left mainstream journalism back in the early 90s, because I saw I'm on a show where I'm reading off a teleprompter, but half of my script is gone, and they say, oh, we can't talk about that. But there's two sides of the story when I present it, and one half of the story gets cut. And I refuse to only tell one half of the story, because that's not balanced journalism. But that's all we're getting in a lot of cases now. It's interesting here in India, there still is a fairly good freedom of the press. There's newspapers that are way to the left, and there's newspapers that are way to the right, and the government kind of straddles the middle. So you're getting all the viewpoints. I don't know how long that's going to last, because it's disappeared in a lot of other places. So I think, you know, our there's a lot of danger with our freedoms of speech and the censorship that are going on these different social media platforms. This has been a real issue for me. When I started speaking out against certain things and I started posting images, posting things that were like authentic, they just were disappearing. I didn't get a notice saying you've violated terms of service or you've posted something inappropriate or this is violent or graphic. It would just disappear. And that was a big red flag for me. Because I hadn't broken any terms of service and I hadn't violated anything. I'm just posting a picture of an orphanage with a pedophilia logo on the front of it. And it came off
I was
their
going to
site.
say that. Yeah, I was going to say that. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'll go and look for a story and I'll read it and watch it. And then I'll go back 2 days later and it's been scrubbed. It's gone. So now I'm learning, take screenshots. Right? You know, it's like, I've had to learn that we're up against algorithms and machine learning and artificial intelligence. And these social media platforms are harnessing the technology in a very dangerous way. This is the huge thing now with the Twitter and Trump fiasco that's been going on, because they're both violating, right? You know, one like, it's a two-way, you know what I say to people, when you're crossing the street, you got to look both ways. Yeah. You always look both ways, you know, and we're not looking both ways. We're just looking one way. We're only showing one half of the equation. And this is very, very, very slippery slope. Yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool because I know I love the fact that you're looking for the truth. And this is, for me, I just want to open dialogue with people who are interested in having respectful conversations, because we are all going to disagree and we all have different ways of looking at things. We all have a different reality. We all have different experiences, different cultural, different religious, different social, economic. But the truth of the matter is, if we don't start having dialogue and explaining ourselves to each other in a positive, meaningful way, we're going to keep getting a bigger and bigger division. And the racism is going to get worse. And, you know, so this is so thank you for opening up the dialogue.
Oh,
and
you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, see, that's what I want this platform to be for. It's like, let people come on and say what they want to say. And, you know, it's like, because all too often it's like media is so restricting. You know, it's like you wouldn't be able to go on and speak to a media thing without having them telling you can't say this. Like you said, like in your job, you can't only tell half the story, or you're made to look like you're cuckoo for trying to get the truth out there. Yeah. Yeah.
No, here I'll give you a perfect example of how this worked. Remember the Occupy movements? They had the Arab Spring, and then they had Occupy Wall Street, and everybody was camping in outside the Wall Street, and then all over the world, Occupy camps sprung up. Well, I went to the big rally on October the 15th in Vancouver, and thousands of people came, and I was watching what was going on. I was like, yeah, we need to send a message. This was peaceful protest. This was properly done. Everything was cool. And then afterwards, I went back to the Vancouver Art Gallery, which was the area where they had claimed as their space. The First Nations, they own that space. They gave everyone permission to use it. They said, this is Indigenous land, and you're welcome to use this land. So a camp was set up, and I went into the media tent because, as a person with journalistic background and journalistic experience, I wanted to offer my expertise. And there was a woman in there that said, no, we're fine, we don't need you. And I found that really strange, because that did not follow the whole mandate of the Occupy movement. It's like that we all have a voice and we all participate. There is no, there's no leaders, there's no decision maker. It's a democratic process. And this woman's telling me, no, we don't need you. To me, why would an organization turn down a professional help? You know? Yeah. This woman turned out to be an operative that was trying to just shut everybody down that was coming to help. But I pushed my way right past her, because when somebody tells me no, I'm more determined. And then what was, but then it was interesting.
I'm laughing because that's like me. Yes, that's the Scottish.
Don't tell me I can't do this. Do not tell me I can't do this. Right? Don't tell me you don't need me, because you do need me. Guaranteed you need me. But then the group of people that were making up all the media people, anybody who had an interest in taking photographs or documenting what was going on at the Occupy camp, we had a meeting, and I was selected to be the media liaison. So if the Canadian news people came, the CBC, CTV, NBC, ABC, whoever they were, if they came to the camp and they wanted a statement, I was the one who had our daily soundbite. I was the one who had our agreed upon messaging, where we all had all of our information, and I was the one who would articulate our demands or our wants or our needs to the press. So every day, 2 or 3 times a day, I would give an interview. In 2 months, how many times do you think my interviews got on TV?
Once or twice, probably.
0.
And that was me being generous. Once or twice.
Do you know who got on TV instead? The homeless people.
We don't need you. Oh.
The drug addicts. They wanted to show that these people that were at this place, they didn't show that there was teachers, lawyers, doctors, architects, that there was educated people that were looking for, look, we don't like the way things are going. They didn't show any of that. What they showed was the people that we were helping. We were taking people off the street and giving them first aid. We had food, not bombs delivery. We were serving over 300 meals a day. None of that was being shown. None of it. And the doctors and nurses and anybody who had any medical expertise, they set up a clinic in our camp, and we were providing first aid and medical to all of the homeless people in the downtown Vancouver core. Hundreds of people a day. But what they showed was a girl ODing. So people were getting such a distorted view, and that fueled me even more, because I thought, this is not how it is. And people were calling me saying, what are you doing at the Occupy camp? Get out of there. You're around all those losers and all those drug addicts. It's not safe. And I'm like, you guys have no idea. Come by and look. People were driving by in cars, honking cars and saying, get an effing job, you bums. People who were there were working 2 or 3 jobs, some of them, So it's
volunteer their time.
It's so lopsided. But this was in 2011. What has changed? It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
The voices that are trying to get the truth out are the ones that are first stifled. And I mean, who am I? I'm a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 10. How can I be a threat to anybody? I'm not associated with any major corporations. I don't have any financial backers. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a billionaire. I'm nobody. I'm somebody who's flying somewhere, looking with my own eyes, hearing with my own ears, having a conversation. But why are they so threatened by me that they have to lock me out of my Twitter account for 6 months? For no reason. And I have to take screenshots and threaten to sue them, and instantly my account gets unlocked.
Same thing happens.
Why are they afraid?
Yes, people.
Yeah, why are they afraid of what I have to say? What am I going to do? I'm one little tiny person. How can I go up against Bill Gates?
Because it's very familiar to what you're saying, because a lot of the people that are in favour of Scottish independence, they'll have these rallies and they'll have get-togethers, and there's thousands of people, and they'll come from all over Scotland, and the media will portray it as angry mob marches through Glasgow, and it's no, there's children and they're waving flags and there's food and there's a party atmosphere. People are playing guitar, singing, so it could make it's closer to Kumbaya than a bloody Braveheart movie, the way they're making out as if it's some So, but the BBC, angry mob marches through, angry mob, So, in contrast,
it's a misrepresentation.
But there's usually maybe about 20 people that are the unionist side, and they're not necessarily the no side, but they're the ones that want to stick together as part of the union, and no matter what they get themselves into, whether they're left homeless, they'll still support the union, and that's it. There are people that
provocateurs.
But there are people that say, there are people there that are no, we don't want independence. And that's okay, that's their choice. But the unionists are certainly a different kettle of fish, let's say. And they're the ones that are shouting abuse, violence, nothing.
Well,
doing nasty signs.
I won't go to demonstrations anymore. I won't go to protests anymore, because I'm just putting myself at risk. Because I've been at protests and demonstrations where I'm with a group of people, we're all peaceful, nothing's going on, and some idiot who's an undercover agent or who's a hired thug starts causing trouble.
But
this is what's happening all over the world right now. They're basically paying people to stir up trouble. And you give some guy off the street $50 and say, go break that window. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the result is violent disruption. This is what's happening in the United States right now. And I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it with my own eyes. I wouldn't have believed it. I was shocked when I saw it. We had a guy in our group. We were protesting outside of a bank. We were just walking by the bank. We stopped there for a second to, like, you know, just make a presence outside this particular bank that was funding the pipeline, right? We're saying, we don't want you funding this pipeline. One of the guys from the group went into the bank and jumped up onto the teller's counter and starts waving around. Like, you don't go into a bank and do that. But he wasn't with us. He was not with us.
Causing trouble, so deliberately, distraction.
Causing trouble to make us look bad. And we're all saying, he's not with us. You know, he's not part of our group.
Local. Yeah.
Right. But this is what happens, is we all get painted with the same brush and the truth doesn't get out. So I don't know. It's really been a challenge for me. I just launched my new website.
Yeah, I was going to say we should talk about that.
Yeah, I knew if I tried to put things up onto YouTube or video or Facebook or Twitter, that they would just censor me, ghost me, shadow ban me, take it down, whatever. Like, that's what happens. Yeah. It says I got no viewers. People look at, who's going to watch a video that has no viewers? It's not very inviting. Oh. And I know people have seen it, but my numbers aren't moving. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my own platform. So I created my own website. I hired a great team of web designers and coders. I've got a dedicated server going through a cloud service and a VPN, a virtual private network. So I'm bulletproof. When I made the announcement that I was launching my site, I just basically made an announcement on January 26th saying that this is what's happening. Since January 26th, within an hour of me making that announcement, there's been hundreds of malicious attacks on my site. The web guy is like, he's got all the data. You can see it all. Like, they've nonstop been trying to breach the security on my site. Why? What do they think I have that's so worth getting? You know, if I'm nobody, why are they attacking me so violently? Why are they going after me? Yeah, so, and I don't even know what I have that's so important, but I do know that people that I've been associated with have been silenced permanently, and that was enough to make me go and run and hide.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all know.
As you would. Yeah. You would.
Yeah, like we all hear stories about people that try and stand up, or whistleblowers. I mean, we can, you know, everybody's heard of Ed Snowden, everybody's heard of Julian Assange. These are people who've had to stand up, who've tried to stand up, and they've been forced to flee because they're trying to tell the truth. How many people, Gary Webb was the guy who uncovered all the CIA drug running, and he just was eliminated. You know, if you try and speak out against certain people, they will just shut you up. And I had a woman that I was passing information to, because sometimes when you're looking for information, you find stuff, you don't want it, but you know somebody else who's interested, right?
Yeah.
So while I was doing some of my investigation in South America, and it led me to some political things. I don't want to have anything to do with US politics. I'm a Canadian with a British passport. It's not my deal. So I pass information on to other people. It's their thing, right? And this one woman, I was introduced to her through another journalist that I was working with, a journalist out of Washington, D.C., and her name was Jenny Moore. And Jenny Moore and I passed a little bit of information back and forth, and I validated the fact that I had found out about the child trafficking routes in South America, specifically Ecuador being a major hub. Now, people around the world are stupid if they don't agree that there's a problem with child trafficking, because there is, right? It's nothing new. It's been going on. It's been going on for hundreds of years or thousands of years, whatever. Children are a commodity. They're a commodity. They can be bought and sold. Still to this day, they're being bought and sold. And so I did some investigations that kind of pulled me in an area that I wasn't comfortable with, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I turned that information over to somebody else, and we had conversations that helped me with something I was looking for, and my information helped her. Well, not long after I passed that woman that information, she showed up dead in her Washington, D.C. hotel room. So this is Jenny Moore, and she died on August the 13th, 2017. And basically, it was like 2 weeks after that I was on a plane back to South America again, because I don't want to be looking over my shoulder every 5 minutes. And that was when I made the decision. I don't know what I have.
Yeah.
Really? Because sometimes you have something you don't realize what it is. But I know that I found out different things in my investigations along the way, in different nonprofit organizations and different banks and different universities and different educational programs and the Clinton Foundation and all these things. And so I decided to just dump all the information I had into a story. And now I feel a little bit safer because I've got my story in seven unique locations and I'm self-publishing. And nobody can shut me down, because other people will pick up the gauntlet and keep going with it. So like I said, I don't even know what it is I have that's so important that people want.
And I've put it at the bottom of the screen there. I don't know, can you see? I know it's close up and you didn't want to get too close. But I've put it there.
You can watch Alison's book for free. Yeah, earthgate.com. What I was going to say is like, this is a whole new thing for me, because I've always written, and you type.
Yeah.
But I found that when I was writing, it's easy to write somebody else's story. It's really easy to write somebody else's story. Yeah. And I'm very authentic to detail. I like to have I'm a major researcher. I want everything to be completely authentic and accurate. So telling my own story was different, because what happened was I started censoring myself. I started thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about that because then these people might think this. And I had a lot of people tell me, Alison, you need to write a book. You've had all these things happen. Like, so many people, like for 10, 15 years, I've been hearing people say, write a book, make a movie. So I decided, okay, I need to tell the story. And I tried recording it, because typing it wasn't working. And that was really not working, because you need to talk to somebody to make it be right. So I decided, I was in Ecuador, and crazy stuff was happening politically, and I found stuff that made me really nervous, and I was like, I need to get this information out of here. Like, I just want to dump this information. So I decided to come to India. I hired a cameraman, and we traveled for 3 months around India, and I told a part of my story in 30 different locations. So there's 30 chapters of the book, which they just got launched yesterday. I uploaded the first 3 chapters.
Now I've seen it.
But I'm looking for, bye Marty. I want to thank my friend Marty for letting me use his studio, because here in India, we don't have the greatest internet, but my friend has got a solid connection. So thank you, Marty. He's a DJ and he's great. And he's like, let me use his space so I don't get cut off,
Good on him.
Anyways,
good on Marty.
He's just he's on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Marty's on his way out. He's on his way out to do a broadcast somewhere else. He's a DJ. So he's gonna go play some music. It's 9 o'clock, and I guess he's got a live stream at 10. Yeah. But yeah, like I decided to tell my story by recording it, and now I've got these 30 chapters, and I uploaded 3. You've seen the 3 that are there. The first one is sort of personal about me, gives you a little bit of a background of me as a person. And then in the second 2 chapters is 2-part Truth and Isolation, part 1, Truth and Isolation, part 2, talking about how I've been isolated from people because of my desire to be honest and authentic. Because people don't want to hear the truth. Ignorance is bliss. So, but I don't care.
In the short term, it's bliss. In the short term, maybe.
Yeah, we need to start dealing with the truth. We can't just keep sweeping it under the rug, And we've seen what's been happening, because we've been living in oblivion for the last 50 years, and we've accelerated this process of dividing mankind into these little racial groups and into these little political groups, and the different football teams. We found so many different ways to label ourselves and divide ourselves and pit ourselves against each other. We've become very combatant, and humanity is failing. And we need to start having this discussion again to find what's common. What do we all want? We all want a better life for our kids. We all want to have access to health care. We all want to have secure homes. We all want clean water, and we all want the same thing. Everywhere I go in the world, it's always the same answers. basic human needs.
Yeah.
But there's such an imbalance that things are just going crazy. And we're looking what's going on in the United States right now. It's just this insane world that we're living in.
We've got a question.
Popping up. There's a question.
It's a question. I thought I would put it up there. William says, "Oh,
do I see myself as a victim of the Western? Yes, I do. And I see myself as a victim of the Western world for many reasons. First of all, I was born in the end of the 50s. Growing up, I was instructed to stay away from the indigenous children because they weren't clean. Okay. But I was a child and I was taught those things. There was like, don't play with those kids. Then the politics where I grew up I was in the West, which was very British, very English. And the other half of Canada is, as you go farther to the east, you get more French. Quebec is French. So there was always this rivalry between the English and French. And I kind of was brought up to hate the French. And I was in my 50s and I moved to Montreal, and it's my favorite city in Canada. Je parle français, j'aime beaucoup. I speak French and I love it. And
Jerome wasn't here. Was it Jerome? The one you're going to help me.
Jerome, yeah. And this is something that was a part of my identity as a Canadian that was missing. Because, I got traveled to many different countries and people speak multiple languages all over the world. In poverty-stricken areas, people still speak 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah.
But as North Americans or as British people, because English is our main language, we don't need to learn another language, so we don't. And it wasn't until I had a problem, because I had a health problem that affected my cognitive ability and my memory, it was suggested to me by the neurosurgeon to study a second language or learn a musical instrument as a way to exercise my brain. The same way as if you have a physical energy, you go to the gym or you have physical therapy to strengthen your muscles and heal your bones.
Yeah.
If you have a brain injury, you have to exercise your brain. So I moved to Montreal where I had some friends and said, hey, I'll need to learn French. And I thought it would take me 6 months. I was there for 3 years. Yeah, well, the older you are, the harder it is. Plus, I had a handicap that I had a memory problem. So the learning French was really a beautiful experience for me because I learned more about myself as a Canadian. I learned more about how having another language can enrich me and open a whole new world for me. Yeah. And also it helped me to heal. So, and then after I left the French part of the world, I decided to dive into South America, and I learned Spanish quite quickly because Spanish and French are really similar. So, but sorry, William, your question, I didn't really answer it. I feel like I've been a victim of the Western world because I've been criticized for my beliefs. I've been criticized for my openness. I have been attacked as a conspiracy theorist because I dare to question. And sometimes I'm being the devil's advocate because there's an argument between 2 people, say an argument on Facebook. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with either party, but if I see one person getting pummeled, like if everybody's ganging up on that person and they're saying blah, blah, I will start asking questions in defense of that person because we all are entitled to our point of view. We're all entitled to our opinion, and our opinions and our point of view are real to us based on our experiences. So I've got a lot of experiences in the medical industry, and that's my sort of pet area. I love plant medicine, natural medicine, holistic medicine, but I spent many years in Los Angeles as a video technician, audio video technician, PowerPoint expert, and I worked for the drug companies. I worked for Abbott Lilly, Pfizer, Merck, Bristol Myers, all the big companies, and I would be the technician in their meetings. I know what goes on in those meetings. I know what they're talking about. I had to sign non-disclosure agreements. The non-disclosure agreement says, can't say what they said in those meetings, but I can tell you,
doesn't mean you don't know
it's
what
not
they are.
It is not for our better interest.
Yeah.
Actually, I can say because it's also been longer than 7 years. It's been longer than 10 years since I haven't been a technician in one of those meetings since it was 2008 when I left Los Angeles. So that's 12 years. But I listen to people saying things about this particular asthma medication that causes cancer in children, but we still need to sell it because we need to recover the research costs. So this is how we're going to sell it to the doctors and the parents. We're going to overcome these obstacles. So they're teaching salesmen how to sell a drug that's known to cause cancer in children. It's an asthma medication. You know, like, that's to me criminal.
Yes.
And I sat in meetings with Citibank and listened to their financial takeover stuff. And I went into meetings that were think tank meetings with the heads of major corporations, because I was doing very high level meetings at 5-star hotels. It's all appearance oriented, and I'm like the girl sitting at the back of the room with my nice suit on, pushing all the buttons, and nobody's even thinking that I'm actually paying attention.
You're just the eye candy.
Yeah, like, well, this one company kept hiring me for these jobs, and I was flying always, like, they were flying me all over the country. This was just before 9/11, and I was doing a lot of traveling with the drug company, and they were flying me all over the place. I was a camera operator and a technician, and I thought, why don't they hire a cameraman in Miami? Why don't they hire a cameraman in New York? Why don't they hire a cameraman in Houston? Why do they fly me from Los Angeles? And then finally, the girl who was the meeting planner said to me, oh, the doctors all love you. Like,
there you go.
I was like, oh, so they're kind of like pimping me out here. This sort of, I was part of the package.
Yeah.
And I got invited.
You've got to have Alison. You've got to have Alison.
I was like, wow, this is wild. But also because
I take it as a compliment.
I was really interested. Yeah, I kind of had to look at it that way, because I was very interested in knowing about the medications, and I understood what efficacy meant. And I knew if we were fixing the PowerPoint, I knew exactly what they were talking about. I had to go in and fix this point because I understood the medical terminologies.
Yeah.
And so that was helpful.
William had another question. William had another question. Well, he likes to get in there with all the questions. He does that the same on Eric Closes videos. He's always in the questions. Is that one too wee?
You have a need to identify what I found. Well, I found lots of different things. So I don't want to give everything away because I want you to watch my book.
You need to. Exactly. Actually, don't give everything away.
It's a video book, so it's quite different. You can just listen to it. It looks like a postcard, and I'm sitting very peacefully under a tree or in a garden or in a mausoleum somewhere, and I'm telling a story. But I'm telling the stories as a way to promote discussion and to make people think, because I've been in situations where something has really struck me and it's made me think. And what's happened is we send our kids to school and we're teaching them not to think anymore. We're shutting off their critical thinking skills by saying, shut up, sit down, memorize this, do the test. You're not allowed to ask questions anymore. It's like we're teaching people to conform and to not ask questions. And this is very dangerous. My whole thing is ask questions, be skeptical, don't believe what you're reading, verify it, validate it. What I'm saying is probably 99% bullshit. Verify what I'm saying. Like, who am I? I'm not an expert. Who are these people claiming to be experts? We're supposed to listen to a 16-year-old girl named Greta. She's very sweet, but she's not an expert. She's being used as a tool by people who are using her for a certain purpose. We need to recognize those things. The same way I'm trying to do things to make people think. I'm trying to not be too dramatic, but my life has been threatened. Mm-hmm. I was engaged to a person who was a very bad person, and I've been connected to some circumstances that make me know that there's things going on in the world that are not what we think they are. Mm-hmm. I've been a victim. Yes, I was a victim of a terrorist organization. So I want people to know that the organizations that we think are protecting us, like our embassies and our governments and our police and our court system, are not. And the child protection services, there's good people in all these organizations. Yes, there's great people, but we need to make them accountable. And if everybody just sits back and stops asking questions, the balance of power gets way out of control and corruption seeps in. And this is why we're in the situation we're in right now, because we've just stopped asking questions. So, did that answer your question, William?
You come at me more.
I don't know. Sometimes
I'm not
sometimes
asking
more
for
questions
crunch.
come because
I don't know if
yeah.
anybody get any other questions for Al. Everybody's saying hi. There's more people. Linda's come in. My friend Linda's come in as well. And everybody's saying hi. So you're
Hello,
all
everybody.
enjoying it. You're all enjoying what Alison's saying. It's great, isn't it? I could just listen to you. I could listen to you all day. I'm like dead boring because I'm just like, oh, listen, tell me more, tell me more.
No. Well,
you don't want to hear it.
I want to share a little bit about my experience with India because I think this is important too. This goes back to William's question about was I affected by Western culture? Hell yes, I was. Because I'm watching TV, I'm watching media, I'm watching all this stuff. So we have a preconceived notion of what something else is. India is this country, and this is how India is. Well, guess what, folks? It's not the way we think it is. The only way you can really know about a place if you go there. Yeah. And if you go and you stay in a fancy hotel in a big city, you're not in that country. If you're going to the shopping mall where there's H&M and Forever 21 and Gap and Nike, and it's the same store, and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell, and it's branded corporate stuff, and it's the same it's in Bangkok, it's in London, it's in LA, it's in Houston, it's everywhere. When you go to a country and you go out into the small areas, that's when you really see what it's like. And I love walking on the road less traveled. And interestingly enough, that's where I make the most amazing discoveries. Being out in these places that, well, they're usually targeted areas because people go after the poor areas, and I'm going to the poor areas. So I'm going to the areas and I'm seeing the truth. And when I was first in India, it was the most amazing thing to me, how hospitable, how kind. Total strangers were like giving me everything. And
you get your hair done as well, remember? You got your hair done as well, remember? You went in and...
You know, I was in Bangalore, and I had to go, because I didn't want to upload any of my information to the internet. So I actually hand delivered my hard drive with all my materials to the web guy in Bangalore. So I'm in another part of South India, and I flew to Bangalore to give the hard drive because I didn't want to upload anything to the internet.
Yeah.
Until it's published on my site, and when I've published it in a controlled environment like my site, then it's copyright protected. You can have it all you want. I don't care. But somebody could actually steal my own story because I'm a real person and my life is real and these are real facts. So believe it or not, somebody else could write my story for me and put my movie out before I get my movie out. You know how that works? You know, there's like these murder shows and all this kind of stuff, and like 3 different networks all make a movie at the same time. Because it's a true, it's a true story. It's anybody can do it. So I learned how to protect myself and my ideas and my theories. And William's got another question.
I know he's away with the questions. William's my close friend.
What people in your life help you form your identity? Well, and that's a great question. I'm a lot of different people. I'm not a split personality. Let me clarify that.
That's okay. I know what you mean because I'm a lot of different people too.
Yeah, and like everybody is.
Everyone is. Yeah, everyone is.
We all have a specific reality. So I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a teacher. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a friend. I'm a lover.
A cousin.
I don't treat my next door neighbor the same way I treat my tailor. You know, like so we're always different to different people. So yes, we are like, you know, this is life. And this is one of the things I say to people too, like somebody has an opinion or somebody says, oh, I don't like that person, they're this or they're that. What I have found in my experience is I'm going to make my own decisions. Maybe you don't have a good relationship with that person, but I'm oil and they're water. We don't mix, right? But somebody else has got a different chemistry and maybe they do mix. So as an example, somebody who, you know, you have a boyfriend and a girlfriend situation, that's a boyfriend, you fought and fought and fought with that guy, then he goes in another relationship and he's got this great relationship. You think, wow, that's really weird. But you were different with different people.
Must have been me. You know? You start saying, must be me.
You know, we're different with different people. And if I go and speak in a school here, and this is one of the things that's been really lovely for me, is I've been invited to tour around in some of the cities here in India and some of the different places. And I've gone into the schools, in the privileged schools, but also in the schools in the slums. And I love going to the slum schools because the students are so eager and they're so hungry to hear. And they're, and it really, I go into a school here in India where the students are like mesmerized, and I think this is so different than the school system in North America. These kids would never sit here like this. Like, but it's like they see me as a different person. It's like, and I was really humbled here in India because I was treated so much like royalty. It was unnerving for me. But that's the culture here. If you're an outsider, you are really important, not feared or shunned, but celebrated and honored. Which
that just ties in with what. Sorry. I nearly jumped over you there by accident. I was going to say that ties in with what, similar to what you were saying there, William's question. It's like, so you didn't have to answer it again. I thought that's like
no, but it's been interesting to me, the different circumstances that I've had here. For instance, in this little village that I live in, I went for breakfast one morning with a bunch of friends, and I went to pay, and I didn't have enough money in my wallet. So I said, oh, just a second, I'm just going to go to the cash machine, which is like, 50 feet down the road, and get money. And the guy says, no, it's okay, come back tomorrow. Doesn't ask me my name, doesn't ask me for anything, like just says, and I said, no, I'll just go to the cash machine. He goes, no, because I had some cash. I was going to give him part of the cash. I said, well, here, just take this. He goes, no, keep that cash because you might need cash, right? So he refused to take the cash that I tried to give him. And he told me, don't bring it back yet, bring it tomorrow. He didn't know my name. He didn't know anything about me. He trusted you. He trusted me. And he trusted me for two reasons. First of all, if I don't come back, that's bad karma on me. He hasn't done anything wrong. I'm going to be the one who's going to be punished for that. And he'll be rewarded. And they really believe that here. And it works. It's a system that works. Yeah. So that was weird for me, and when you go somewhere to eat, nobody asks you for money at the end of the meal. They don't present you with a bill. You have to actually go and ask them, how much do I owe you? Because it's rude to ask for money. Yeah.
Ah, right. Do people sometimes just go out though? And
I'm sitting there like, are they going to bring the bill? Like, what's it? No.
Check, please.
Like I thought, are they going to bring me the bill? Like,
offended everyone.
Yeah, but in Vancouver, you go to a restaurant, you order your food, they bring you the bill before they bring you the food. Or you got to go to McDonald's, you got to pay. You go to McDonald's and you pay for the food before you receive the food. Yeah. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole different
so different
world.
Different
world.
Yeah. But I really loved it.
Do you find that sometimes people will say, yeah to you, but then they kind of let you down, because everyone's nice, like, have you ever found that happen? You know what
today.
I mean? Like, today? Right, oops.
Today. No, well, because, like, I've learned to, in India, people they say yes, and they make commitments, but they can't always keep those commitments, but they don't want to say no. The same way as if you ask somebody for directions, if they don't really know, sometimes they'll just give you directions anyway.
Well, they just say, oh, it's up there. It's that way.
Yeah, they're like, just go straight, right? And you're like,
no.
really?
Are you really?
Because they don't want to disappoint you. But I've had people make commitments to me because they don't want to disappoint me. But now I know to always have a backup plan. I always have a backup plan, which is why I'm at my friend Marty's house right now.
Yeah.
Because I had a backup plan. Because I don't have good enough internet where I live. I'm not on Wi-Fi, and I'm in a remote zone. I'm really in a lovely spot. I'm surrounded by nature. So I like not having internet because it stops me from being online 24 hours a day too. It's like, it's not healthy to be on the internet all the time.
The internet's been really spotty here recently because of I don't know if it's probably because of COVID. Everybody's at home.
Maybe
they're all watching.
Yeah, lack of it.
Yeah.
Well, and also there's lower maintenance. The people who are working, there's less people working, less maintenance people, less line maintenance, less people in the switching stations.
Yep.
So,
people working from home. Oh, that sort of thing. A lot of businesses working from home, and it's just
everyone's
like
downloading movies.
oh yeah,
and everyone's on Zoom and in social media, like having conversations. I don't know. I've seen so many people having birthday parties with like all their family in little squares on their phone, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever used StreamYard before? I know you've used some other platforms before, but
I've used a lot of different platforms, but and this is beautiful. It's simple. It's smooth.
So
it's great.
Easy, isn't it?
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like for StreamYard.
yeah,
no,
definitely. And if you need me to show you later on how to get yourself set up if you were thinking of doing it for your own, it takes no time. Takes no time. Yeah. And that link, I just sent you the link, you clicked it and you were in, you know.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the thing for me is like I had planned on actually broadcasting from my laptop and then having my phone do Facebook Live. So I'd be doing two things.
Oh.
And what happened was the audio on my laptop wasn't working. I got to tell you, it's an Indian laptop, and I bought the cheapest one I could. Well, I was volunteering at an English school when I very first got here, which was a really amazing experience. But I volunteered at this little school in this little remote village in the middle of West Bengali, and it was farmland and agricultural area. And I gave them my tablet, which had a keyboard and a tablet, because the school didn't really have anything, and I thought it would be a good teaching aid for them because we were using it a bit, right? So I gave them my tablet, and I thought I'll just get a new laptop, right? But in India, it's a different keyboard. So and I was like, oh no, it's in English.
It's like, go back. Can I get my keyboard back? Can I get my laptop
back? In the
back?
wrong place and all this kind of stuff, right? So I bought the cheapest laptop I could find, it's just a little tiny netbook, and it's really not good. So it's basically like 8 months old now, and it's falling apart. Because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a laptop that had the wrong keyboard. And I didn't anticipate being here as long as I was. Like, I was supposed to go home at the end. This is what happens to me too. I make plans, and then the universe disrupts my plans. Because I had planned to go home at the end of October. But my return ticket was booked with Jet Airways. And Jet Airways went bankrupt, and they refunded my ticket. So I thought, oh, well, I still have another 6 months on my visa, so I'm going to stay longer.
Yeah.
And I decided to do my post-production and build my website here in India, because, well, if you need a website built, why not get it done in India, right? Where all the web people are. So I'm like, well, I'm in India. This is the best place for me to be. And then when I was getting ready to leave again here, I was looking at renewing and coming back into India on a business visa to make a feature film here. And the COVID lockdown started. So now I'm kind of like just doing 30-day extensions. I can't leave even if I want to, but I don't really want to leave anyways. And so that's my next project is I'm going to take a couple of chapters from the book and I'm collaborating with filmmakers here, and I'm going to make a Hollywood-Bollywood smash-up. So
sounds good.
Very excited about that. Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
I'm in India, and this is the biggest film industry in the world is in India.
Yeah.
They have 1.4 billion people. It's a huge population, and they have the biggest industry in the world. Like Bollywood is huge. It's bigger than all the other film industries combined.
I do like myself a bit of a Bollywood movie. I do like the music, and you'll see me when that's on, and I'm like, oh no,
Well, how could I come to India and not make a Bollywood?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get a bit carried away with myself, so I do.
So I decided this was the place. I'm like here. So I've made movies in Canada. I made movies in the United States, and I thought, why don't I make a movie in India?
Yeah.
And so that's my next plan, and that's my next plan. That's why I'm going to take a couple of chapters of the book, and there's some very spicy chapters that make for a good
spicy.
A good thriller drama and political, and so that's.
But it is good because it's almost like an audio book. But sometimes I find when I listen to audiobooks, I get a bit fed up and my mind wanders away and it starts thinking of other things. Whereas, like, I do craft projects and stuff like that, so I quite often I'll put YouTube things on and I'll have it on in the background. And I'll glance up and down, whereas if it was just an audio book, my mind would wander away on me. So I think you know, listening to your book, watching, you know, being able to glance up and down at you, it'll keep me engaged, if you know what I mean, rather than because audiobooks my mind just goes and wandering away and start thinking about other things, and it's like, oh, I get lulled into kind of like this sort of meditation of their voice rather than listening to them. I follow you into a pattern of thinking of something else.
Yeah, the visualism is an anchor. It gives you a point of reference.
Yeah,
that's true.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
Interesting, like what was fun for me was we were going to all these different locations, but I didn't have a script. I had a few notes of different things that I wanted to, different stories that I wanted to tell, different parts of my life or different things. So I had sort of different topics that I wanted to cover. But how I did it was I wanted India to inspire the telling of the story. So we would go to a location and I would look around and I would sort of see like, what am I going to talk about now? And something would come out of that location. So even though my story has nothing to do with India, India became a character in this story because it provides the location. It's the setting. So, you know, the first chapter that you see is about my dear friend Eileen, who I knew since I was a little kid, grade 1. And it was the story of the calla lilies. There was this theme of the calla lilies in Victoria, calla lilies in Peru, and then calla lilies in Darjeeling up in the Himalayas. And I thought, wow, this is where I need to talk about Eileen. So each chapter was, and the second chapter, Truth and Isolation, is in Khajuraho, where they have these amazing ancient temples from the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th centuries. It's amazing, these old historical buildings. And when we went back to the hotel one after it was a yoga ashram, at the end of the hallway was these bars that looked like a jail. And I thought, wow, I feel like I'm in jail.
She's in jail? I thought she's in jail or she's sitting in some sort of wet toilet. Where is she sitting?
That's the end of the hallway, because a lot of times they have like a breezeway for the wind to go through to keep the hallways cool. So there's just metal bars at the end of the hallway, and I just loved it was marble floor, so there was a light reflecting off the floor, but it was also like that echoing sound. You know, it felt like I was in a jail.
Lovely.
So it really it inspired that whole concept of me being isolated because of being a truther. And so each chapter was influenced by the locations.
I like the first one, the way that mist
I love Bollywood movies. Yeah, Bollywood.
She does it too. She does it too.
My favorite Bollywood movie is Lagan, which is about the Indians and the British solving some disputes over a cricket game.
Yeah. So Ericos my friend. Ericos is the one that I do the political videos with.
I've watched you. Where is he, in the States somewhere, in Texas or New
California. LA.
California.
He's in LA. Yeah, California.
Okay.
But yeah, he said it's time to let people out. This was when we were talking about the COVID. But yeah, in Scotland, we've got phase 1 of being allowed out. We're allowed to meet one family as long as we social distance within 2 meters away, you know, and it's outside of the house, not in the house. But we really are making a big headway on that in Scotland. We really are. Touch wood, as they say. We're doing so much better than the rest of the UK.
Do you feel that people are losing it because they've been locked in? Like, do you think that there's an increase in depression and family violence and suicide? Like, has there been? Well,
I know that for a fact in Scotland, they've very much amped up the services required for the support needed for these things. I mean, they've put in.
Oh, that's excellent.
You know, put in all these extra. It's not just a case of, here's a phone number. If you're, you know, experiencing problems, phone this number. They've done a thing where if you're in a violent situation and you phone a specific number, you don't even need to speak. They know, the police know, you know. So it's like one of those. You know, there's a special name for that, and I can't. It's out my head what it's called. And there's all sorts of.
It's like a silent alarm.
Yeah, like that. Because I think there was one in America where the woman carried on, she was ordering a pizza or something like that, but it was the police she'd phoned.
Mm.
Do you remember that? Was it something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've ramped up the amount of support, this amount of emotional support for people. And they're very much aware that, you know, keeping people in, people are allowed to go out and exercise. They're not trapped in, they're allowed to go out and exercise for as many times in the day as they like. They can go out and exercise as long as you stay away, 2 metres away from anyone that's not within your own house. So you're not trapped in, you're not, you know, like stuck in your four walls, and, you know, so you can go out and do yoga in the middle of the park if you want, and, you know, so I mean, but in terms of the whole violence, threat, you know, I think obviously anyone that's living in a situation like that is going to be amped up by any of these things. Anyone with depression, you know, anything being in a COVID situation, it's going to, you know, maybe amp it up, you know. So I think Alison's frozen. Is she frozen? Am I talking about it? I'm not just sit silent. Oh, she's away. Left me myself. She'll be back in a wee second. India internet signal. How's everybody doing? He's all right. When she comes back on, I'll let her back in. Has everybody been okay? Tell me how you're all doing. Lost in. See, a lot of people are having internet problems. But yeah, I'm fine. I'm well. Missing being on here doing videos. I hope everybody else is well. It's been roasting here. It's like proper hot. For Scotland, it's like really hot. Or as Eric Cozy would say, no, well, I won't say what he says. I'll let him say it. If he's still listening, I'll let him say it. But yeah, in Scotland, when it's hot, we call it taps aff, which is basically like topped off. All the guys take their t-shirts off and end up like lobsters. Sheer abandonment to any kind of sun protection, because usually everybody's like bottle white, you know. But yeah, that's a shame. I've lost that Alison signal. But oh, how interesting is Alison? She's my cousin from Canada. In case anyone was last minute coming in and didn't know, she's my cousin from Canada, and she's my husband's first cousin, so she's cousin through marriage. But I don't like to say in-law or anything like that. You're my cousin, you know. That's what I say. Excellent show so far. Thank you very much there. I shall put that up. You're doing great. Excellent so far. So far. The boys have been exiled out of the living room. Normally I'll do the videos in the other room, but because it's been so blooming warm, I said I will melt in there. There's no way that I'll be able to. So I'm in the living room, and everybody's been exiled out of the living room. Get out! And I've got a glass with all my ice and my water, and trying to keep cool in case I was going to get roasting. Let me just read the rest of these three chats. Yeah, Jane, it's roasting, isn't it? It's roasting. I always hate that blank face when people are reading the chat. It's like, you know. Oh, you broke your wrist. Right, okay. I missed something about Linda. Is it something that was said up there and I've missed it? I'm sorry if you've said something, Linda. I hope you're okay, Linda. I can't see what it is if it's been on here. Oh, you mean where you are? I've just caught there what you're meaning. Yeah, stay safe. Stay away. It's not good at all. Not good at all. But is anybody else going to say something, or am I just going to talk to myself? You know me, I don't mind talking to myself. It's when I answer myself, it's a different thing. I mean, I've been on here for an hour and 14 minutes. Yeah. Aye, William, I've got that. Thanks for, That's into that. That's what I said to you, William. I thought that was where Linda was. I said that to you, and that's why we were trying to get it, make sure we were the right place. What am I getting a beep? Excuse me a second. I'm getting a beep in my phone, and it's Alison. I just need to see, in case she's saying she's not got internet. Oh, so excuse me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, India has power out problems. When they lose the power, they obviously lose the internet. So that's what's been happening. So I've missed some chats though. Yikes. Oh, Linda. Oh, Alison's back.
I'm so sorry.
Are you, oh no, it's okay. I was thinking, I thought, oh, is she not getting back in? What am I going to talk about myself?
The power went out full. This is part of living in India. I'm sitting here, I'm in a total strange space, and all of a sudden it's pitch black.
Oh no.
And then I sat there and I thought, is it going to just be out for a little while? Is it going to be out for a long time? And the neighbor knocked on the door yelling at me, Alison, are you okay? But this is, and I should have told everybody beforehand, sorry. This is very normal here to lose power.
It's easy to happen, and I need to just say something. No, Cherie, Alison's not related to Lorraine. She was asking if you were related to Lorraine, because woman I know that comes on, she's been on a couple of times. Her name is Lorraine. She's from Canada, but she's living in Scotland again, because she's born in Scotland, and she looks after her dad. So they were wondering if it was a relation. No, Alison is my relation, and I'm not related to Lorraine. So Alison's my cousin, aren't you?
I hail from the Young clan.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole lot is.
Sorry for leaving you all so suddenly.
I said it'll just be, it'll have dropped and then it'll be back up probably. Or if it just kept down, I would have said you can,
one of the things that happened too was the fan and the air conditioning went off, and within a few seconds it gets really hot.
I was just saying about how hot it is here, but I can't imagine how hot it would have been over there. It's in Scotland. You get it so cold, even in a wee hot day, you're like melting in Scotland because we're so used to it being cool, So
cooler, yeah. I've been really lucky because every time I've been to Scotland, I've had great weather. Really good weather, so I'm happy about that. And I love the green. I love the green of Scotland. And
so we were meant to meet the last time when you were in Scotland.
Yeah, you guys had a car accident.
We did. We had problems with the car. Yeah, someone threw a firework, remember, and it hit the car.
That's right.
And we were lucky. It's not a funny story, but there's a funny bit of the story that William will kill me for telling, but. He thought the firework was in the outside of the car, but the firework... I'm going to laugh. He thought the firework had went in the outside of the car, but the firework had actually came in the inside of the car, and William was pushing me in the car to protect me from the fireworks, thinking it was in the outside, and it was in the inside. Thankfully, I was okay, because I was in the car, Neil was in the car, and Bobby, the dog, was in the back of the car. Who's never forgiven fireworks ever since. Now he's deaf, can't hear them, but he still doesn't trust them. He's like, I don't trust those fireworks things. I mean, we were all fine. Thankfully, we were all fine. But it was like the car windscreen was all smashed, and we were on the way to come and meet you. So it was like, oh, typical. Trust it to be something that goes with a bang. But William was pushing me back in the car, and I'm going, no, let me out of the car. You know, and it was. So thanks, William.
Well, the intention was he was trying to protect you. I mean, his intention was good.
He was, exactly. Yeah. That's why I laugh about it, because it's not as if well, I hope that's what he was trying to do, not trying to finish me off somehow. It's the William that asks the questions. William that asks the questions.
I have this thing with fireworks too, but there was I think it's the second week of September, something like that. Because in India, there's all these amazing celebrations, different religious celebrations, and there's all these different gods, and it's really quite confusing, but I'm learning bit by bit. Yeah. But in September, they have a big thing for Ganesh. And part of this is like 5 days of intense fireworks. And it goes for 5 days. And I just thought, I think it was maybe the third or fourth day, I had PSTD. Because it was like I was in the middle of a war zone. It was like bang, 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 all day long, day and night. And I got to the point where I didn't want to leave my house. I was keeping all the doors and windows. It was during the monsoons too. So, and it was just too much. And I started being really bothered by this. I thought, okay, it's a religious celebration, but these fireworks, how can this be good?
It'd be good for the air and all that as well. You'd be breathing all that in.
And plus I was staying in a place where, like, around my house there was beautiful wildlife, and I had monkeys and everything. And for the 5 days that the fireworks were going off, like every single piece of nature was 100 miles away. I think they just leave. They know, it's Ganesh week. Go. Yeah, right?
Let's go. Take a holiday book somewhere else.
You don't want to be there during that week. But it's been interesting for me, like learning more about the culture. Like I love learning, and India is just a wealth of all kinds of things going on. I mean, you could spend the rest of your life just trying to learn all the gods here, because like there's so many of them. There's literally a celebration almost every day for something. Yeah. So.
And I mean, like the cows are sacred.
Oh yeah, well did you hear about my little cow incident?
Yes. Well, that's what I was going to say. I was being subtle there. I was saying, I'll tell you they're sacred, and then if you wanted to share the story, you can, but if you don't need to. Well,
I have like a mix, like I'm a vegetarian and I love animals, and I became vegetarian, and kind of gradually now I can't eat meat. Even if I really try, I just can't. I don't eat fish. I force myself to eat eggs. I force them. Like I think, this is good protein, eat these eggs. But so the cows in India, when I first came, like there's cows everywhere. There's like cows in the middle of the road. There's cows everywhere. And you kind of just get used to them. And like I never thought of cows as being dangerous. Mm-hmm. It never even occurred to me that cows could be dangerous. They're just all over the place. They're part of the daily life. People put food out for them and decorate them and put bells on them. So I'm leaving, and I was going on a trip to Mumbai. I was speaking at an event. So instead of them flying me, if you take a bus, it's a night bus. So you get on the bus at 10 o'clock at night, you arrive in the morning, you sleep on the bus. It's like a bed thing. Sleep on the bus, you get there in the morning. So then I checked into my hotel. But when I was leaving, I'm walking towards the taxi to take me to this town that's half an hour away so I can take the bus to get to Mumbai. And I'm walking down the road with my backpack on my back, and I see a cow in front of me. You walk on the left, like everything's left-hand drive, like England, like the UK. I see the cow, and she's got a calf. So I know I'm crossing the road to get out of her way, because mothers can be protective of their calves. Yeah. But I guess what happened was, as I veered across the road, I think the cat knew that, because I did it very deliberately. Yeah. She freaked out, and I think she thought I was going to circle back around or something. She came at me. She was coming at me, and I don't even.
She had horns,
I don't
didn't
even.
she? She had wee horns. She had
The
big
horns,
horns.
wee.
Yeah,
wee
I
horns,
was going to say, was it big horns?
They're a foot long, and they're like a big straight thing, right? She's coming at me with these horns, and I had a skirt on, and she was poking in the back of my skirt. She was going in my back. I guess I turned my back to her. But anyways, I was really lucky. I grabbed one of the horns, and I was holding onto the horn so tight. She was literally flopping me around like a rag doll, but I refused to let go of that horn because I thought if I let go, she's going to poke this horn right in me. So I was using the leverage, and thankfully, this is a little tiny road in the middle of a village. A motorcycle came from one way, and a guy in a scooter came from the other direction, and they came to me at the cow, and I'm still hanging on, and the cow stopped fighting me when the motorcycles came. I let go, and I literally had 3 holes in the back of my underwear.
Yeah.
And a giant bruise on my buttocks and a huge scrape. Like, I was so close to being gored. And I was like, okay, I'm not bleeding. Nothing's broken. So I just kind of carried on. But the next morning when I got to my hotel and I took my clothes off and had a shower and I saw what it was, I was horrified how close I had come. The bruise was massive.
A senior bruise.
Yeah, and I thought, wow, and 3 holes in the back of my underwear. Like, you don't get a hole in the, like, and I thought, holy cow, and the back of my skirt had about 8 holes in it.
Holy cow, you said.
and then I thought, what's wrong with my shoulder? My shoulder was really sore. That was where I had most of the pain. And I thought, I didn't get hit in the shoulder. Nothing happened to my shoulder.
But if you're holding,
my whole body weight was on my shoulder while this cow was tossing me like a rodeo clown. I was really rodeo clown. I know now what those guys do, the rodeo clowns. So that was my cow experience. And honestly, I'm still cow shy. When I see a cow, I get a bit freaked out. Like I haven't gotten over. It's like if you get bit by a dog, you have a trouble with dogs, you know. So I'm trying to not have cow fear because they're everywhere. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say that you can't avoid them. You know, you can't avoid them. But it's
and the same thing. There's like I had to stop riding my bicycle. I ride a bicycle everywhere. I love it. I ride a bicycle everywhere, and everything's so close. So I ride my bicycle everywhere, but I cannot ride my bicycle after dark. Because the very dogs who are peaceful and lovely dogs, as soon as darkness hits, they turn into like animals. And I got mobbed by like 10 dogs, followed me on my bike one night, like a gang of wild dogs. Well, they become wild when they're in a pack like that.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky. I had a scarf on, and my scarf was blowing in the wind, and it was trailing a little bit, and one of the dogs pulled at the scarf. So I had all the dogs around me, like meow, 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 snapping and snarling, and it was so.
Yeah. Oh. We lost it again. I see. I hate it when internet signals go crazy. She's going to kill me for that face. She'll be like, because I'm always frightened whenever I freeze that I'm going to be like a corpse or something. But that's a shame. If I get another wee message, she's still there. I might put her out and then see if sometimes if you put the guest out, then when they click back in, they can come back in. But my God, imagine a cow pure coming right up to you and blooming. I mean, I saw the photograph. I saw a photograph of the bruises. It looked blooming sore. It looks, you know, like if you ever fell downstairs and you hit your bum right on the edge of the stair and you get a bruise right down you, and your whole leg's all black and blue. It was like that. If anybody's ever done that, that's what it was like. But oh, Jesus. But I mean, we're at about an hour and a half now anyway, and my water's getting the better of me. I don't want to have a toilet break. Should I have a toilet break? Does anybody think I should have a toilet break? Well, like, we can play the music. Do, 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 do. Somebody can hum the music in the chat so that it's like... But poor Linda. Linda, I'm sending you the biggest cuddle. I'm so sorry you're having such a horrible time. Well, it's because she's a vegetarian. Needs a bit of fat. Well, your ma still bruise? I still bruise. So there's your theory out the window. Party break. I know. Will I go and do it? Will I go and do it? Will I go and do it? Does anybody mind waiting? Like, I won't be long. I'll mute the thing and I'll mute the thing so you don't hear me going to the toilet. And if Alison comes back in, then I'll let her back in when. But yeah, give me the toilet break because this hot weather and I'm having to blow the thing. So give me a second. I'll mute these. How unprofessional. Hello, I'm back. Right, there's Alison back as well. Hi!
You
I
know,
went to the loo.
I was just thinking to myself,
can I go to the loo?
I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm in the middle of a story where it's like right at a spot where people are probably going, what?
And you were like this.
The scarf is strangling off my neck. Anyways, I was really lucky because the scarf blew off. The dog dragged it, and all the dogs went after the scarf, and I just pedaled as fast as I could pedal.
Yeah.
So, a man. Here's another story about how wonderful people are here. I went around the corner and I'm down the road and I'm having like a little like, whoa, that was close. I almost got eaten alive by 10 dogs, and I'm sort of composing myself. And a guy comes by in a motorcycle. He sees me stopped on my bicycle. He stops. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, there's a pack of dogs back there that just attacked me." He's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I don't even know it was a miracle. I didn't get eaten alive, right?" I said, "But they took my scarf." He said, "Oh, is that your scarf?" He went back and got my scarf for me.
Oh, that's nice. Was it off holes? Was it no holes for the dog?
It had a couple little holes in it, but it's still functional. So,
not as bad as the underwear with the cow though. The scarf.
No, but You know, I was in the middle of the Amazon jungle and I had no dangerous animals there, but here in India on my own little street, I've been attacked by cows and dogs, right? So, but it's just a different world here. It's a really different world, but the people are very kind, and that's why
I was going to say that kindness.
Yeah, I just really feel at home here because they made me feel at home.
Yep.
Welcome. They made me feel welcome. So there's no reason for me to like move out yet. You know?
Yeah. Especially when you've got good pals that help you let you use their Wi-Fi, you know. But then if you've been all over and you've found, has most people been kind where you've been?
You know, I love the South Americans as well. Peruvians are probably the kindest people I've ever met in the world, and very hospitable. And even the most poverty-stricken, I was up in the top of the Andes with a guy. He's like a Sherpa. He's a packer that carries people's packs on the Machu Picchu Trail. He gets paid the equivalent of like $2 a day for about an 18-hour day. He runs with everyone's packs, sets the camp up, cooks the meal. The people come and walk because you can't carry your own pack. You can barely walk at that altitude, right? It's high altitude. If you're not from there, you're not used to the lack of oxygen. Yeah. But these guys work so hard that they get treated like slaves. And it's really sad. So I was interviewing with this guy up in the top of the Andes Mountains. It takes him 2 or 3 days to get to his job. Then he goes on this hike for 3 or 4 days, and then 2 or 3 days to walk back home again. So he's gone from his family for about a week and a half, and he makes very little money. His wife is a traditional weaver, and I'm interviewing this guy. They have guinea pigs and the little garden. And they made me
pets or for eating?
No, they eat them.
I was going to say that.
And I was really like, they sacrificed their last little guinea pig for me. And these are people who have nothing. Yeah. You know, but they prepared this meal that was like Christmas dinner for them because I was a guest and they never get a guest like that. So they go all out. I had so many blankets on my bed. Like at high altitude, it gets chilly at night. There was so many wool blankets on my bed. It cut off the circulation in my legs from the weight of the blankets. And I kept thinking all night long, oh my God, is all the family all like freezing? Because I think I have every single blanket. Yeah, because they want to make sure that you're okay. Yeah. You know? And because I'm a vegetarian, so they served me this bowl of food with this piece of guinea pig in it. And I felt so bad. I didn't want to turn it down. So I said to my interpreter, who speaks Spanish and Quechua. Quechua is the indigenous language. So I said to him, please eat my guinea pig. Take my guinea pig. I can't eat it. He said, no, that's rude. He got angry at me. He said, these people made this for you. I said, I can't eat it. They don't understand vegetarian. They don't understand at all. Yeah.
So they might get mad.
And I'm kind of panicking because there's no way I can eat this guinea pig. Even if I wasn't a vegetarian, I don't think I could eat the guinea pig, right?
And I used to have guinea pigs, so I would be like,
it's a pet,
guinea pig.
And his little feet are sticking up out of I got the chest piece, which is apparently the best piece, and his little feet are sticking out of it. So I'm looking at this piece, and they have 2 children. They have a little 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I cut that piece in half, and I gave it to each of the children. I didn't know what else to do. I was panicking. Because I didn't want to disrespect them, and I thought, I can't eat this. There's no way I'm going to not be able to do it. So I gave it to the kids were like, nom, 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 nom. And the woman was so like, wow, like I felt like a cheat because really I was just trying to not eat it myself, and they thought I was being really sweet and giving it to my kids. Yeah. Oh, what a nice lady. She gave her, but it wasn't. It was just me trying to be self-preserving. And so I really struggled with that because these people are giving you everything they have. And I'm kind of saying, no, and I don't eat that. You don't want to do that. It's not cool.
Especially if they're giving you all the blankets and they're,
I know. And they were the loveliest people. And the same thing too, they just worked so hard to impress me. What did we have for breakfast? We had boiled water with pieces of dried corn in it. Like, those crunchy kernel corns, it's like a popcorny kind of snack. Yeah. The bigger kernels that are hard, you chew them. we had that and hot water for breakfast. Like, these people have nothing.
Nothing.
And and when I tried to give them money, that was kind of like a weird moment too, because
Were they not wanting to?
Well, they don't use money in their society, and they're like, but they need money. Like,
so it's I get it. I get it.
It's really weird because the traditional Incan culture is a culture of reciprocity and sharing.
Yeah.
I grow potatoes. I give you my potatoes. You grow corn. You give me your corn. It's time to harvest your food.
It's not like just money. Yeah.
Everyone works together. Everyone, like, they had a flood in this little community when I was staying there. Like, a ditch overflowed in front of this guy's yard. At 6 o'clock in the morning, everyone woke up and saw that there was a problem. The whole entire village fixed it within 10 minutes. Everyone worked together. It was amazing to watch it go down. And I thought, wow, nobody.
That's amazing.
Sure. Yeah. So, like, this is how their culture is. It's a culture of reciprocity and sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We've lost that in our capitalist society is kind of missing that. And even though they have very simple nothing, they just share everything, and they share it so openly and willingly. And that's the gift. So it was really humbling when you go to places like that, and we're so privileged. And that's been the people of Peru were really special for me. And the same thing too, like, I go to small places, that's where the poor people are. Those are the people I like hanging out with. They're the real people.
Well, I was going to say that if they're the real people, and that's the real story, and the real, you're getting the real truth.
Well, they're not
getting the truth.
They're not being affected by the merchandise and the marketing and the advertising and the messaging and the narrative. They're oblivious to it. And their whole life is just about enjoying life. And we really miss that. When I go back to North America, or if I talk to people, it becomes this sort of contest where, like, we need more money, and I need a better job, and we're having this and that, and, like, now we're in this situation where everybody's in lockdown and everybody's facing the same daily struggles that these people have on their whole lives. Basic services we don't have access to. Well, that's normal for them. So I've really enjoyed learning more about people, but the people who welcome me the most are the people who have the least. It's always surprising.
It's funny because I know it's on a different scale, but Scotland's like that. It's like the people in Scotland, they've got they've got nothing. They'll give away their half of nothing. I know that sounds silly, but you know what I mean. It's like they'll give away. They won't see someone else stuck. No,
and also I remember going to a ceilidh, and I just remember that sense of community.
Yeah.
That everybody was equal, and everybody was there for the same purpose and the same reason. And nobody was posturing or trying to be in charge or trying to be the leader or trying to, I've lived in some very toxic cities. Los Angeles is really, really toxic. The energy, the attitude, the competitiveness, the business, the industry there. And you start kind of getting desensitized to that and turning a blind eye to things. And when you go to other places, you get a reawakening. So it was really different for me. I've lived in such diverse places. I just don't have a desire to go back to the big cities anymore. I just want to plant vegetables and grow plants. And I really want to just detox from all that technology and stress. And we're just running around in circles, chasing our own tails. Why?
See, I'm in a city, right? But it's like in Scotland, we've got such a big amount of mass of land, that even although we're in a city, it's like, we're in one of the biggest cities in Scotland, if not the biggest city. But it doesn't feel like everyone's all on top of each other. It really doesn't feel like that here, whereas it's like there's only, the amount of people in Scotland compared to the amount of people in the rest of the UK, they're all living on top of each other. It's like they're just like, there's no space, there's no, You know, obviously there'll be like rural villages where things are maybe more spread out, etc.,
Right.
etc. But I mean, it's in the inner city places. It's like the cities are just so. It would be so suffocating. I think. I just think, oh, I don't know. Whereas even like we've got friends and family that stay in some of the busier places in Glasgow, you know, and it's like even there, it's not as tight, packed in. It's just there's just no way. It's just not. I don't know. It's maybe just we're lucky that way.
We've got
you know, it's
you've got
different...
parks there, and
oh yeah. I mean Glasgow is like
even your public spaces are big. You have big public spaces.
Yeah,
you've got lots. Big squares and big parks.
Glasgow actually is Deer Green Place. Is one of the definitions of what Glasgow means. Deer Green Place. It's Neil will probably tell me, am I wrong, Neil? Am I right or am I wrong? He'll be like that. You've said it wrong. But no, it's like let Glasgow flourish is what they say, and then it's like Glasgow is like the Deer Green Place, and you know, because we've got so many parks in Glasgow, and it's like, you know, it's not grey. It's not grey like up in Aberdeen. It's like in the city of Aberdeen, everything's kind of grey and more, you know, sort of the people are more grey, you know, and you know, whereas it's like, no, I don't mean the people are more grey, but I mean it's just like different parts of Scotland. It's I think if you're walking about and everything's grey, you know, you're going to feel a bit more, you know. Whereas if you're walking around and you've got parks and, you know, I'm not saying it's like perfect or anything like that here, but you know, you've definitely, if you get, you know, your fresh air and your parks, you're going to feel more, you know, at one, I suppose.
Have you noticed since the lockdown a difference in the air quality or a difference in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's been remarkable to me. Seeing the gradual changes. And I was in Bangalore, which is a city of 19 million people, the first week of lockdown, and I watched. It was amazing. Because there was nobody on the streets. In a city with 19 million people, there was nobody out at all. It was really kind of creepy in some ways.
Yeah, I was going to say that's weird.
Yeah, because it was so strange to me, because whenever I go into the big cities here, and I've been to a lot of the main cities of Delhi and Mumbai, and it's overpowering, the smell and the noise and the traffic and the horns honking. And in Bangalore, I went there to give my drive to the web designer, and literally I almost got stuck in Bangalore. I was there for 6 days, and the day that I arrived in Bangalore was the day Bangalore got locked down. And I managed to leave on the very last flight out of Bangalore to get back home. Otherwise, I would be sitting in a hotel room for the last 2 months, which would have been horrible. Like in a strange city, stuck in the hotel room. I know. And I was at the airport, and I saw all these X's, canceled, and I was like,
you're like, no.
Oh boy. Literally 3 planes left Bangalore that night, and mine was one of them. I was so lucky, really lucky. And I don't know what I would have done if I had got stuck there, because the only reason that it hasn't been such a negative experience for me is that I live surrounded by nature.
Yeah.
So who cares if I'm locked down, right? It's like, you know, I'm really in such a beautiful spot. It's not a big problem for me. And my life is very solitary a lot too, because I'm a writer and a researcher. I'm used to spending lots of time by myself.
It's not like you to worry so much about social distancing. Just like maybe when you go shopping, do you wear do you wear a mask and stuff like that? Do you cover your face when you go to the shops? And not a mask as such, but do you cover?
I didn't go out. I didn't go anywhere for 6 weeks, because there was rumors, and I will call them rumors, that the locals were upset that the tourists had brought the COVID here.
Right.
So I was concerned, and my landlords, who are Hindi, came to me right away and said, whatever you need, we'll get for you. Don't leave the house. Don't leave the house. And I had so many people taking care of me and bringing me stuff. I didn't need to go anywhere. Literally, every day I had fresh fruit and vegetable and fresh foods brought to me. Good. I had, you know, they have a water filter downstairs. I was worried about fresh water, but everything was taken care of. Alison, have you found my perfect? Alison, have you found my perfect? What does that mean?
Perfect. What did you mean, Mr. Perfect? What did you mean, William? Or maybe he's meaning. Maybe he's saying you're perfect.
Yeah, but
Have you
found
you're perfect? Clarify, William. Come on, clarify.
I need a clarification on that. You know, so people always ask me that, like, why don't you have a husband? Why don't you get a boy? Honestly, the only reason that I have the freedom to do the things that I do is because I'm single.
Yeah, because you do. Yeah.
I don't have to, like, I can spontaneously make a decision. I was in Ecuador and I was in the process of buying a farm. That's what I was doing March a year ago. I was looking at property, and what happened was the Canadian dollar went down and the American dollar went up. And Ecuador uses the American dollar. So all of a sudden, I didn't have enough money for the transaction I needed to do because I lost $7,000 just in exchange rate. And I thought, it's crazy for me to buy right now because there's such a huge difference. So I thought, well, I'm going to wait till the Canadian dollar strengthens, or I got to make more money. That was when I made a very hasty decision to leave India, or to leave Ecuador and come to India. It wasn't planned. I didn't plan it. I was like, well, where can I go where I can live cheap, do this, write this book, drop this information, where I can be safe. That was the other reason I chose India, because I felt like I could be safe here. Part of my story involves a certain terrorist organization that is not very welcome in India, but active in a lot of other countries. So I needed to feel like I could be in a place where I didn't have to worry about them. Very strange. I'm sounding cloak and dagger and very conspiracy theory now.
No, not conspiracy.
But
conspiracy investigator.
I have a personal history with a person who was a bad dude who was associated with a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And that person is now living in New York City and actively working with the US government. So no, I don't trust anybody. How can somebody who's committed a crime against me be living in New York City working for the US government? It's really quite baffling. And how can my embassy allow that to happen? Quite baffling again. Why doesn't anybody answer my queries about this? That's also quite baffling. Messages to certain security organizations in the United States have gone unanswered, ignored, not even an auto reply, which really I find quite interesting. Usually you get like an auto reply when you contact like an official organization, like we've received your request. No, they don't even want to acknowledge me. So I'm like, okay, they're protecting him, but I'm the victim. So this is kind of interesting. That's why I was asking you about the Innocence Project, because in a weird way, I'm a victim of a crime, a terrorist crime. An attempt was made on me by a known terrorist. And who's protecting me?
No one. Yourself. You.
Yeah.
By your actions, trying to keep away.
When I'm asking, like, why isn't anybody coming after this man? Why is he living freely in New York City? Nobody will answer me. So no, I don't trust anybody. And I would love for somebody to be able to provide me with those answers. Yeah. So far, nobody's satisfied my questions. So this is kind of, like and India has a very strict process. I had to stop in Spain for 1 month. Because one of the questions on the visa application to come into India was, have you been to Pakistan in the last 10 years? Well, I was in Pakistan in April, for the month of April, 2009. So when I was leaving Ecuador, I went to apply for my passport or my visa, and that question popped up, and I was like, I don't want to answer yes to this question. So I spent 1 month in Spain. Yeah. Because I didn't want to have any red flags or anything on my passport that would cause a problem for me. And because India takes those things very seriously.
Yep.
Very, very seriously. So this is the best place for me to be. You know, the best place for me to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that I'm desperate to see the rest of your shows. You know, I can't wait to see the rest. I'm really hooked. And I absolutely hope other people, I hope everyone that's been here and watched the video and listening to you today, you know, I hope everyone will take the chance to have a look, because it's not as if they're not on for very long. It's not like each part's on for like hours and hours and hours. It's each wee part's only, is it like 14 minutes?
The shortest chapter is 14 minutes long, and the longest chapter is 39 minutes long.
I mean, who doesn't have that time when you're doing something, doing the dishes, or, you know, cleaning the kitchen, or whatever, you know, that's the thing, isn't it? It's,
like you said, you don't have to keep glued, because it's just me sitting talking. So you've got a visual reference. But
I mean, we've managed to keep people...
it's completely unscripted. I'm speaking straight from the heart, straight from, you know, and I even talk about memory. Because really, one of the stories I talk about memory, I tried talking about my childhood. I said, this is my recollection of my childhood, but everybody's perspective is different. My brothers have a different idea of my childhood than I do, because they have their perspective. And I have different memories, because those are the things that were important to me, or those are the things that were powerful or influencing or fearful or whatever. So I talk about memory, and I talk about recollection, because for me, authenticity and honesty and truth is really, really important. And I honestly say, I had a stroke, I had brain damage, I had neurological malfunction, I had cognitive disability for a period of time. I don't know if my full memory is intact. I don't know if my full intelligence has returned. I don't even understand. I mean, I'm being IQ tested, but I'm very fortunate that I'm able to form a sentence, because people have strokes and have, you know, game over. So I feel really lucky that the worst thing that happened was I had some memory problems and I lost the vision in my right eye. But I want to tell my story, because I think I have experiences that can be helpful for other people. And I want people to understand that everything that we think isn't necessarily how it really is.
Yeah.
And question me. You know, I love it when people challenge me. I want people to prove me wrong. I would be happy to be proven wrong. If somebody could prove to me that the man who I was engaged to is a good guy, I would love to be proven wrong. You know? Yeah.
So, isn't it?
Then I don't. Yeah, like, so I don't want to believe that all these horrible things are happening in the world. I would love to believe that I'm wrong. I would love to believe I'm wrong. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things going on that we need to deal with and address and draw attention to and hold a candle up against and speak for people who don't have a voice.
Well, Cheryl's going to listen. She's going to listen for sure.
Thank you so much.
Believe it or not, we've been on for an hour and 57 minutes. So I think
that's enough.
We'll probably call it. I know I was going to say we'll call it so it doesn't end up DOA, you know.
Well, and I'm sorry for the times I got cut off and I lost you.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why I was like, don't worry about the time. But that's why I was like, you know, I just stayed on. Well, it's just you. Anybody, you'll be able to find the link to the website and all that. I've got that all in the video description. And the link to Alison's YouTube channel, because you've got some lovely videos on there as well that aren't part of your Earth One Media journey, but some of them it's your India journey, isn't it? And some of the other places you've been, so it's definitely worth having a look.
I scrubbed a lot of information off of the websites, and I scrubbed a lot of things off my YouTube because I didn't want to draw any political attention to myself. So a lot of stuff is gone that used to be there, but I do have touristy things. I wanted to share my experiences. Some things there's some videos from South America. There's some videos of England, of India. But
it's nice to have a look and see.
Yeah. But thank you so much I feel like we could just go on for hours. I hope we get a chance to talk again.
It's getting to medication. It's getting your medication time for me. That's what that happens. I go, ooh, and then I get, once I take my medicine and my pain levels go back down again, I'll be like, ready for action. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we could talk for ages, and we have spoke for ages. But honestly, I really do appreciate you came on, and I'm desperate to see the rest of your videos, because I can't wait to see what's coming. Because the more everything you were saying, I was just like,
27 more chapters are on the way.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Right. But anyway, that's us at the 2-hour mark exactly there. But anyway, thank you so much. And you take care, and big cuddles all the way from Scotland. And thanks everyone for watching, and all the lovely comments and all the hellos and all that sort of thing. It's really nice to get the support. But I'll catch you all later. Bye. And I'm just going to end that.